Put something in a brand new drop. Trick one now. Just got paid, but to blow a couple racks off top. Trick one.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Wrestler's Perspective. I'm your host, Kenny Steele. I'm actually in front of the camera this time. and today we have our first female guest. Not only that, she is exclusive. She is the only female member of Dot Mob. Also a DFW All Pro graduate.
Yes, sir.
If I'm not mistaken. Miss Reiza Clarke. How you doing, love? Welcome to the show.
Doing good. Can't complain.
Can't complain. So that's what's up. So how have you been? What has been going on? Last I checked, you've been all over, kind of wreaking havoc, which we love, by the way. And what you been up to?
I mean, right now, just kind of like you said, here, there, and everywhere. Getting ready for a couple of shows that I'm kind of excited for.
Okay.
So, we have a DFW All Pro Women's is coming back in June, so I'm pretty happy about that. 28. I'm doing another all-women show out in San Antonio on July 6th.
Okay.
Which is gonna be super cool. Girl fight down, like I said, down in San Antonio. And then I'm getting to do another all-women show out in Kansas in July. So that's gonna be excited about those ones.
And that's awesome because and the thing that's interesting is your style is very hard hitting, a lot different from most of your colleagues over there at DFW All Pro. I have seen you do some damage to people where I'm just like, male or female, which is just like, it can be quite intimidating sometimes. And I'm sure you get that a lot. So I got this question, and I'm pretty sure you get this often. But what got you into wrestling? I'm pretty sure a lot of people are just kind of like, they kind of turn their heads. They have a bit of a question, especially given, what I'm saying, you're a very dominating person.
So I actually got into wrestling on a fluke, kind of just like flipping through the channels.
Really?
And the first wrestling match I saw was a Harlem Heat match.
Classic.
Yeah.
Who are they working?
I honestly don't remember. I just vividly remember being Harlem Heat because in my brain, who I associated with wrestling was Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, all those guys. So I see these two guys, they'd be my uncle, and I'm like,
right.
Hold on, wait.
Right.
What are they doing?
Right.
And just kind of being super intrigued from that alone, and it was, just kind of kept on. And my mother did not get it at all because
I can relate.
She's from the Bahamas, so wrestling wasn't a major cultural phenomenon there.
Mm-hmm.
So she was just like, I don't see what you see in this.
Right.
You're not hurting anybody, so okay.
Right.
But she was just like, sure, whatever you want to do, if that makes you happy.
Right. So did you watch a lot of WCW, or were you like a WWE kid?
I was very much like WWE, WWF. It was I feel like I watched WCW for on and off just because, again, I really liked Harlem Heat, and I feel like that was kind of exclusively what I watched it for.
Yeah. Booker's so smooth. You can't do that at all.
And so of course I was super hyped. Booker T shows up.
Dude,
Steve Ray shows up.
What was it, the Harlem Hangover? When you did that Harlem Hangover, I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll be able to copy that one, but
yeah, it was
very impressive.
Very much just WWE, WWF. I still remember you could tell who had cable and who had regular TV because who was Raw and who was SmackDown. I was all SmackDown all the time, but I couldn't watch Raw if I wanted to. So.
Oh, SmackDown! Oh my god!
And I still vividly remember one day we were watching it, and our mom comes in, and she grew up Pentecostal, so she sees the whole bit where they have Stephanie hung up on the cross, and was like, I don't know what this is, but not in my Christian household, not today. Turn it off. She was having none of it. She was like, I don't know.
Man. Yeah, that's
what this
wrong.
Is.
That's
but
definitely wrong episode to walk in on.
Not happening in my Christian household.
Oh my god! So you had to keep it strictly SmackDown for a while.
It was very it's funny now because she comes to my matches and stuff, and it's it's interesting now enough to start voicing what she likes and doesn't like.
Okay,
it's super funny. But yeah, that's one of the main wrestling members I have of her is her just kind of being like, what? Oh no. None of that.
That's awesome. So watching SmackDown, who are some of your favorites growing up?
End all be Undertaker's my dude. that was like, he was like the end all be all for wrestling for me for the longest. Like, I obviously loved Jazz, man. I just remember like watching her. It's super weird like getting to finally meet her because I was like, I watched you beat Trish Stratus up solidly for a good period of time, and just like I remember just like meeting, like I got to drive her to her hotel after something. I just remember being like in the car, like trying to be cool about it. And I'm just like, Jazz is in my car right now. Jazz is talking to me right now.
Yeah.
I loved her. Karma Awesome Kong. She is like my favorite. Well, she's my favorite wrestler, like, period.
Yes.
But and so obviously I'm super hyped after last night.
Yeah.
But
shout out to Awesome Kong AEW. Great stuff the other night.
But man, I should like remember like her debut and like seeing this like big black woman and everyone was like, yo, and I was like, I don't know who she is, but I want to be her.
So did you see her first on TNA or WWE?
WWE was the first time that I had seen her. So I actually remember her just like showing like I remember the laugh.
Yeah,
the laugh is something that stuck in my mind.
Laugh, yeah.
And then it's like, here comes this woman in like this like warrior get up and like, these like MMA gloves, and I was just like, yo, I don't know who she is, but everybody's getting ready to die.
Yeah. I remember watching Awesome Kong in TNA, and I just remember just being like in awe of her, because I was just like, dude, again, same reaction. Like, I don't know who this woman is, but her opponent is gonna die.
Yeah.
She looks like she takes no mess. I'm gonna keep it clean.
I like went back like more recently and watched a bunch of her stuff from like TNA and watched her stuff in Shimmer, and I was just like, still like years later, like in complete like awe of her.
Yeah.
And so it's always like super funny to me, like when people's first introduction to her is Glow.
Yes,
because like I'm like, she's fantastic in it, but I'm just like, you're gonna be shocked when you Google this woman and see her matches.
Yes.
Because it's like she's very much like a friendly, warm presence on Glow, and you see her actually wrestle, and it's like, oh no, I'm terrified now. I'm absolutely scared of her.
It's so funny because I didn't even like watching the show. She's so different. You don't really even connect it to. You really don't. So watching her, I went, Awesome Kong. And then you just kind of get sucked into the show, and you really don't think about it, and she does her deal. But yeah, like after watching her last night, it was just kind of like I just got flashbacks. I was like, oh God, this is gonna be
like running around when it was like, she's just like, I want this match to be awesome. My brain's like, no way, this is not happening.
I just remember just seeing her at the AEW show, and I was like, oh my God, it is on. Like, and completely on.
I didn't know I needed Awesome Kong and Nyla Rose until that moment happened, and I was like, I need this match.
Yeah.
If nothing else in wrestling ever happens after this, I need this match to happen.
she is phenomenal. But no, and you know what? And that was the one thing stuff happens. Sometimes that's business. Things work out, they don't. But I really did wish she had a longer WWE run because she is so talented. Ridiculously talented. And I was just like, the matchup should have been able to do is, I've been out of this world. Especially if she had been there today with the talent they have now.
Oh, yeah. I watched a match of hers from Shimmer. It's her and Mischief. And I was just convinced that she was going to end that woman's life. And the match itself was fantastic. So you ever get a chance to, like, some free time you want to go watch something like that, it's a great match. But I just remember, like, watching the whole time and, like, seeing Mischief come out, and I was like, she's going to die.
That's awesome.
She's getting ready to die in front of these crowd of people.
So who was the person that made you watch and kind of inspired you to be like, oh, well, I can probably do this. I definitely want to be like that person. Or I see myself in that person.
It oddly enough, like, I don't feel like there's any one particular person. Like, I stopped watching wrestling for a while. Everyone kind of hit their teenager. You're too cool to watch wrestling. And a couple.
I don't know that feeling. I'm sorry.
It was funny because I don't feel like I ever I stopped watching, but I never stopped like paying attention to wrestling. So I would still like look at the highlights.
Oh, okay, nice.
And so I just wouldn't tell anybody because it wasn't cool anymore. And so I would see I didn't get a chance to watch like the whole Summer of Punk. But, like, I knew everything that was going on during that time period. Oh, my God.
Oh, thank God for the network.
And so, like, it was funny enough, what got me back into, like, fully, at least, I kind of followed TNA on and off because I always felt like their women's division was like amazing, and so I
Yeah.
followed the knockouts really heavily.
Yeah.
But
So
what got me
good.
back into like the WWE product was randomly I was at work scrolling through like random YouTube videos, and there was a video of them making Enzo Amore and Cass's entrance music.
Oh, okay, nice.
And so I just remember like seeing the two of them and like hearing the like Enzo's rapping over their music, and I was like, who is this dude? Like, so I went and like looked him up, and that got me into like watching NXT. And I was and when I got to the point where I was watching like at least 8 hours of wrestling a week.
Wow.
So it's like you're watching SmackDown, watching Raw, watching NXT.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I'm watching all this wrestling and then getting winded going up the stairs. So like that kind of got me back in like working out at all. And then I had a coworker of mine who was super into VIP.
Okay, nice.
Funny enough, and she was like, "Oh, if you're," then we talk because she showed up with like I would say it's like a Becky Lynch something or other like on her stuff, and I was like, "Okay, cool." We got to talk about wrestling, talked about how she went to WrestleMania and all of that. I was like, "Oh, if you really like wrestling, you should go to this show out in Arlington." And so I looked it up and I was like, "All right, cool." That was right before DFW All Pro ran its first show ever.
Okay.
And so I was like, "Okay, cool." So I bought tickets to the DFW show. I bought tickets to the VIP show, and they had a little thing about like if they run a school or whatever. So I went to both of those shows and was kind of like, you know what? I want to at least go to this tryout. If I can't do it, then I can at least say I tried.
Yeah,
But
you never know until you try.
You know, as much as I am watching this thing, I would kind of like to experience and see if it's something I can actually do.
Right.
And I went to the tryout. Lou texted me the next day and was like, you know, how are you feeling? I was like, I feel like I got hit by an F-150. So way better than I thought I was going to feel.
Yeah.
Funny enough, like I didn't end up going back for a couple of months, but Lou saw me like everything. And like after a certain time, like I had to say something to him. Because he saw, I would go to Ring of Honor and see me there. Obviously, I was going to the VIP shows every month. I was going to DFW shows. He saw me at like WWE live events, and so I was like,
nice.
He was like, I knew you were coming back just because I saw you at
every show.
everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Like 2 years later, here we are.
That's what's up. That's what's up. No, hey, because it's and I always give a shout out to DFW All Pro. Just these students there are so amazing. It's I mean it's just you know they guys hit the ground running, and it's I've always always drop names like talents like you, Byron Anthros, Nick Collins. There's too many people to even name. There's so many students. Killer K. The list goes on and on and on. And you guys are just phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? I just keep seeing the students and the show get better every day. So it's just like, definitely to be a part of that is definitely something nice, especially with it kind of being in this area, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's really, it's really, really good. So, shout out to you guys.
And it's been like crazy watching just grow in like this time period.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think the beauty of like what we have going on is that everybody is like there's a healthy amount of competition. I mean, you're going to, but nobody wants to see anyone do badly.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like everyone's still actively pushing each other, and just it's like one of us does well, we all do well.
Absolutely.
It's like if someone goes somewhere and they're like, oh, this person from DFW showed up, they were awesome. We all look good. Exactly. So it's like we have some guys that are getting back from Mexico today.
Mm-hmm.
Folks are all over the place, and we've got folks going here, there, and wherever, and just trying to like get out and do their own thing, do what we were trained to do it. We all like are here for it. So it's good, it's fun, and like I think we're getting to a good place now. It's kind of weird of like I'll be at training, and then people who've been here less time than me are asking me questions. And I'm like, oh, they think I know what I'm doing. like we have some new girls, and they'll just be like, hey, I'm having issues with this. Like, what helped you? And I'm like talking, and I was like, oh my gosh, these people think I'm not winging it.
And it's good. It's finding your footing, and that's wrestling too. That's the beauty of wrestling. You never really know, small little tricks of the trade you'll pick up. You just kind of just try it, and some things fit, some things don't, and then you kind of develop your own style. So speaking of own style, good way to segue to that one. How did you, kind of develop that? We do know you're, of course, very physical. What I'm saying, you are tall, and you kind of use as a dominant side. Is that something that just kind of came natural? Or you decided that you were just kind of like, we'll see what fits.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I think I've always kind of been a very like aggressive person. I think that it's like play your strengths. So
Right.
I'm the strongest when I'm grounded, so I'm not gonna like take myself away from that. I also kind of like I was one of those kids who was kind of scrappy.
So, I would not have guessed that. Would not have
so
guessed that at all.
It's stick to your strengths. It's like, why am I gonna hop, jump, skip, and do all that when it's like I know I have hands. I can rely on Old Faithful right here when it comes down to it. I don't need to do there's a lot of things that take a lot of talent, and I'm like, that's great for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't do a 450 splash knocked out.
Mm-hmm. True. But you do, I will say this, you do come off as an athlete. And even now in today's wrestling, you kind of see guys on dives and coronas and XYZ. And one thing I've always admired about your style is that you do keep it, very old school. It's your timing is great. You're very crisp, very dominant, and it's really impressive. So yeah, I kind of saw that and I was like, oh, yeah, she's a bit of a throwback. She'll hurt you.
Yeah, I think it also is just like some of like the wrestlers that I really liked kind of influenced this like the style of wrestling that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of the same vein. It's kind of like I said, Awesome Kong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jazz,
absolutely.
Yeah, Undertaker, even like someone more recent. Like I love Madison Eagles. I think Madison Eagles is easily one of the best wrestlers, period, right now. And she's kind of the same way. Like she's a very tall woman, and very like she'll tie people up. And like I'm like, how did you even get
into?
But at the same time, is still a very athletic person without. I don't say doing a lot, but kind of without doing that style of wrestling. Is very she very much exudes the fact that like I'm really good at this.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of that's the kind of wrestling that really interested me. And so it's kind of like when we got around to like you learn a lot of things, and it's kind of picking like, okay, this feels right. I like this, and that's I stuck to what I enjoyed and what I liked and what worked for me, and that's kind of it's like cool. I could do some flippy stuff, but I'm not.
I agree. And that's the cool thing about wrestling because it's such a great variety. And that's one of the reasons why I've always liked you always stand out because most people today follow what's trendy. Flips, dives. Can kind of pick up some small little nuances, whether they're strikes or things of that nature, or where they'll present their their character. You've been very straightforward and it stands out. It's not anything that's kind of just routine. I mean, you can go, if you choose, and of course, most of all DFW pro students can. But at the end of the day, it kind of your style is, it's kind of a throwback and it does make you stand out. So you have accomplished that, and I did want to say congratulations to you on that. So, kind of getting into wrestling, who are some of your favorite people to work? You've been kind of working for a while, or maybe some people to train with. Who are some of the people you kind of get in the ring with, and it's just like second nature?
I would say like Alejandra, the Lion, and I are kind of at that point now. So it's funny because I feel like it makes it harder for us to wrestle each other now because we know each other's stuff so well. I got a chance to wrestle Erica Torres a while back, and she is amazing. Like, if I could wrestle her every day, I would.
Nice.
She's great. I really enjoyed that match. I got the chance to wrestle Jordan Grace, and that was super cool. I enjoyed wrestling. I wrestled Holiday back in October, and that was really fun. It was one of the most nerve-wracking experiences of my life because, of the women who are active right now, she's easily one of my favorite. So it's like, okay, cool. You're gonna wrestle this woman that you really look up to, and I was like, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I went back and watched that match recently, and you could see it on my face, and I was I'm getting ready. This woman's gonna try and murder me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die in front of my mom tonight. There's a reason why she is where she is. She's ridiculously talented. So those are some of my favorite ones that I've had. I think Kate and I are starting to kind of get to the point now where we know each other fairly well. So I can say the likelihood of her beating with the rear naked choke is Slim to None now.
Right.
Because I can see that coming a mile away. Right. The same way it's kind of like she has me scouted in ways we did a few months ago.
Right.
So, I mean, it's fun. Like, that's like, I feel like the beauty of being, just in general, surrounded by as many talented women as I am. Like, just in this area and in the state. And there's so much talent out there that you kind of, it forces you to have to up your game because you're surrounded by all these women that are constantly doing that.
So, well, yeah, and you know, a lot of, and that's the great part about it too. You know, DFW is also building, you know, great women wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? And you usually, you know, you'll have a locker room or at least a promotion or a show. You know, so you really don't get a lot of females coming forward in wrestling, and you know, especially kind of having the styles that you guys have. How do you feel about women's wrestling in this, you know, the way it is today?
I think that it has taken leaps and bounds in regards to the respect that, you know, women's wrestlers are being given, and just kind of like the opportunity to do things that wasn't there before. Because, I mean, like I said, there's a wealth of really talented women in this area, and I don't feel like that necessarily in and of itself is like the major change. I think there always has been. It's just that if you don't, you know, trust the talent that some people have, they'll never get the opportunity to really blossom. Yeah. And I think, I mean, one of the things that was kind of told to me pretty early on was like that women in this area or in Texas would get good and leave. And I think that's been the major change, is that with more emphasis and more spotlight being put on us, people are sticking around longer. So that's not to say like they don't leave Texas, because like you have people like, you know, Hayon's in Japan right now. Alex Gracia just came back. You have a bunch of women who just, you know, went to Shimmer. You have, you know, girls who are still in high school like Roxy who are absolutely killing it. I think the difference is just that they don't feel like they have to leave Texas to be able to get the spotlight that they're wanting and like to be able to accomplish the things they're trying to get to. So they're sticking around longer, so they're more accessible to people here. And
having good matches.
Yeah, and like having amazing matches. And it's like, you know, we're running DFW All Pro Women's. You have a Ladies Night Out. You have just a number of like all women shows that are being run. With Sabotage, you know, is a predominantly like women's show. They're doing like the intergender bit like pretty, I would say, heavily in comparison to like pretty much everywhere else. And it's just kind of giving these women a platform at home that they didn't have previously. Because like we've talked about this before, like Baby D is ridiculously talented.
Yeah.
And
her and Phoebe as well. And ridiculously talented.
And like especially with them, you didn't see like women's tag teams.
Yeah.
Fun and Sexy is like a Texas staple now.
Yeah.
And
legitimate.
And you know, they have the talent to back it up, and it's just kind of like giving them the platform to be fun and sexy, as opposed to, you know, well, I'll grab this girl here and I'll grab this girl here and we'll throw a tag match together. Yeah, we'll throw a tag match together. It's like you're getting these women that are wanting to be these teams and wanting to actually be, you know, tag team wrestlers, and giving them the opportunity to actually do that. And I think it's just going to be a bigger upswing of that, because when you're having women come to shows who have kind of thought, hey, maybe I might want to be a wrestler, and you're seeing multiple women's matches, and you're seeing a bunch of talented women, that makes you more comfortable in going to these schools and like even just fans of coming to these shows. Because one of the biggest hindrance for me when I was first starting to go to indie shows is I was not comfortable being a single woman in a crowd. Because even if it's like the things that people are comfortable saying, or not even saying, yelling at women's wrestlers at wrestling shows is kind of wild.
Yeah. Behave yourselves at wrestling shows. Don't be a prick.
Yeah, and so it's like you have these people who want to engage in this thing that we all love.
Absolutely.
Who come and are made to feel uncomfortable, and they don't come back.
Absolutely.
And like that doesn't do anything for any of us, because like the more people that are coming to shows, the better the shows are going to be.
Absolutely.
The more they're going to run, the more you're going to see the people that you like. And it saves us from having people run off going, it was just a bad time.
Yeah.
Because like one of the things that I've been super adamant about, at least with our women's show, is trying to bring in younger girls and giving them a place to kind of come with their parents, and their parents are comfortable with them being there, not being afraid that it's going to be something it's not age appropriate, or something where their daughter's going to feel harassed or afraid or uncomfortable.
Wow, I never even thought of it that way.
And it's like, and for me, like, obviously coming in as like a fan and then kind of transitioning into actually wrestling, it's you have, even like as workers, it's like if you have a place that has a reputation for not treating women well, people are not going to go there.
Yeah. No,
because someone tells me, hey, I went and had a experience that was really, really negative, I'm not going to be in a hurry to go to that place.
Absolutely. Because
it's kind of like, I don't have to go and have a bad experience for myself if someone's already told me. If it's bad from far away, it's probably going to be bad up close. Yeah. And that's not to say that like the promotions themselves are bad or that their fans are bad. It's just kind of like, when you have situations, it's all about how you handle them. Because you're seeing more and more now, like on social media, that promotions are being more adamant about what's acceptable at their shows. And they're telling people, like, if you do this, you won't be welcome or we will remove you. And I think that is just more of it. I don't think it's necessarily that these places are unsafe, bad places to work. I think it's kind of just, we're in a day and age now that you have to be more transparent about what you're doing to fix issues. And that's just like across the board.
Absolutely.
If something happens and your fans complain about it or your workers complain about it, you kind of have to be pretty transparent and going, here was the issue, here's our remedy for it. Because you do that, and then people are like, okay, well, now I know if something happens when I go there, they're going to take it seriously.
No, absolutely.
And, I mean, that is going to do nothing but make you money. Because, you know, I've seen it plenty of times where people are like, I never really had an interest in going to the show before, but how they handle this made me go, okay, I might want to go see what their product is. They're bringing in good people, they have a pretty good card, they seem like good people. Yeah. Let's go try to support, like, let's try to go support this thing that is obviously trying to do something good.
Yeah. And, you know, and absolutely. And to touch on what we talked about before, I am actually, you know, pretty happy that women's wrestling is starting to really hit that stride. I was talking to someone, I'm not going to mention their name, but we were working a show, and one of the promoters actually had the nerve to tell her, he said, well, you know, we just have women's matches as an attraction. We're not thinking about doing anything with them or going anywhere with them. They're just that part of the show, and then we have, you know, the male wrestlers, and they're, you know, the stars of the rest of the card, which I completely agree with. It was complete, you know, bullshit. Because I was just like, well, they're workers just like we're workers. You know, they're talented just like we're, you know, just like we're talented. No, they're not an attraction, they're workers. So from that aspect, to see so many shows now having all women shows, you know, women are the focus of the show. Women closing out WrestleMania 35, which is, you know, phenomenal. You know, even shout out to, you know, Becky 2 belts. Well, more 2 belts, but still, she probably will be again soon. But just to see that whole evolution, and with women actually, you know, being taken seriously, you know, taking notice, put, you know, on a grand scale, you know, on a much larger scale is you know, is very progressive, and it's awesome to see, because now it's just, you know, back in the day they're always viewed as, you know, just attractions, models. They'll do their little Russian stick and they a popcorn match, and then it's over. And, you know, to finally actually see women, you know, even like Sasha Banks, you know, Charlotte, you know, just be, if not just as good or more talented than, you know what I'm saying, than the male wrestlers, is phenomenal. Even, you know, even hearing Jericho told a story in his book one time as well, too. He was saying Michelle McCool had a match that was, like, phenomenal with, I want to say, Beth Phoenix or somebody. And he actually, and one of the producers actually had the nerve to tell her, he's like, yo, you're doing too much. You don't want to outshine the male wrestlers. And Jericho stepped in and said, no, screw that. If she's outshining the male wrestlers, then the male wrestlers needs to step up. Yeah. She doesn't have to, you know, say she doesn't have to dumb it down just for, you know, her male counterparts. Complete bullshit. So the fact that that's actually taking night, you know, being noticed, and the fact that she was, you know, the Evolution show too. Shout out to Michelle McCool. Was awesome, awesome, completely awesome. So I'm going to ask you this question that I've been getting consistently. And mind you, I mean, I approved of it. I just didn't know when I was having it. I get this question often. How did you get into modified team?
So the funny part to me about like all of this is like the idea that like Nate and I just popped up one day.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first time I ever met Dante was the first day I ever trained at DFW All Pro.
Okay. Awesome.
So showed up the first day, and what we did training that day was kind of like he was kind of like teaching the fundamentals of some weightlifting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I met him like day one. I'm gonna say I met you a couple of days later at training. Ty not too long after that. And so like I've known y'all kind of from the get go.
Yeah, from jump. Yeah.
And so it was sort of like Nate and I were kind of getting to the point where, you know, we're wanting to kind of do some different stuff, kind of get into more what's out there. And it's also, I think, also kind of the timing of the whole DFW cartel thing.
Yeah.
Kind of, I expedited what I feel like probably would have been inevitable anyway, but it's kind of like we all have a similar mindset.
Mm-hmm.
We all kind of have similar goals.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a sit down of going, okay, y'all were kind of getting in the same moment of kind of regrouping.
Mm-hmm.
What is the modified team? What are we do? Like, who are we separately? Who are we together? And it was kind of like us just approaching y'all going, hey, like, we're kind of cool anyway. Like, we're the fam anyway. We're together a lot anyway. And, you know, with the, you know, rework of what's going on and kind of the power struggle that happened there, kind of going like, okay, well, how do we help each other and have each other's back in like the current climate of like what's going on and what we're doing. And I think for me it was just kind of like, all right, cool, I respect y'all. I have always kind of watched your work and have taken stuff from that. And so for me, it was just kind of like right now we all need like a level of backup and kind of going like, I have y'all's backs anyway. Y'all have my back anyway. Let's make this like official. Because it was kind of like we were .mob adjacent before anyway, so I feel like it was kind of just solidifying.
It was kind of just
what was already happening to begin with.
No, absolutely. And you know, and it's funny because when we all, you know, discussed it, especially with you and Nate, Nate is just, you know, it was like you said, just adjacent. It always just kind of fit. Nate, you know, Nate Collins, such a phenomenal talent. Has always just kind of just been there, been a bro, been the homie, always been super cool, you know, super nice. But you know, again, same mindset, you know what I'm saying, same goals, same aspirations, and with you was exactly the same. And once, you know what I'm saying, once we all kind of came together, you know, so what I really like, especially with you as an addition, it's, you know what I'm saying, it's right on par with all this. You know what I'm saying, it's all crisp, it's all smooth, it makes sense. Your talent is great, you're a phenomenal worker, especially going out there getting it you know, light shining bright, no damn problem. And I was just like, oh yeah, it's a great addition. You know what I'm saying? You know, our proxy, it only makes our light brighter, that she's shining just as bright. Nate, same with his light shining just as bright. And when it all came together, it just, you know, it fit. It fit and completely worked. And once we kind of got together and kind of clicked up, you know, I was like, oh yeah, it's nothing but love and support 100%. Like you said with, you know, DFW All Pro, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it definitely was something. I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely taking it to the next level, definitely next step. So.
I mean, and obviously you got someone's attention. So.
That definitely got a lot of attention. But you know what I'm saying, definitely well wanted attention. So awesome. You mentioned that you had a couple shows come up earlier. We're you know, gonna kind of, you know, start to wrap this up. Where let them know where they can find you, and also who else would you like to work? Who else is on your list that, you know what I'm saying, you have locked up with, that you're like, yo, if I kind of get the opportunity, you know, we'll have some fun.
The most recent show I have coming up is we have another DFW All Pro bit on the 14th.
Let them know where it is.
Haltom City, American Legion Post 655. We are there every second Friday. Then right after that next weekend, I have Laredo Wrestling Alliance out in Laredo.
Nice.
So that's always a fun show. So if you're out on that part of the world, you should definitely check them out. I mean, for the most part, I mean, I'm still kind of building June up.
Yes.
And then
Summers is hot, especially with wrestling.
Oh yeah.
That definitely wrestling being a hotbed. But people that you would like to work with that you haven't worked with.
I have had a chance to do tag. I was in a tag match against Jazz and Rodney, so I would like to get a chance to lock up with her one-on-one.
Nice.
You know, bring my wrestling fandom full circle.
Absolutely.
You know, obviously, like depending on what Kong's situation is.
Yeah.
I would kill to wrestle her.
If you ever got a day, you know what I'm saying, and you're available, you know, work something out. You never know.
And you know, in terms like I would really like to work with Casey Warfield.
Okay.
We talked about potentially trying to get together and do some tag stuff because kind of like the same thing. We are very like I met her when she walked in training one day and we just clicked immediately.
Yeah, no, she's great. I saw her match with Alabama. Also, shout out to Alabama. Dude, they went to war.
Oh,
they
yeah.
pulled no punches.
Those are two tough chicks right there.
I was like, wow.
Yeah,
definitely. Wow, no, that'd be awesome to see.
So I would like to do some of that. I mean, like I've been saying, I would love to work Phoebe. She and I haven't had a chance to actually wrestle like one-on-one.
She's great. Yeah, Phoebe's amazing.
So I would love to be able to finally wrestle Phoebe one-on-one. I mean, there's just, especially at least in Texas itself, I would like to wrestle Cassandra Golden.
Okay.
Like she and I met a while back. Really sweet girl. I think that we have some similarities in style.
Okay.
So I would kind of like to see, you know, how we measure up there.
Right.
I'd like to work fun and sexy.
Absolutely.
Preferably with Casey. So, I've been saying this year I want to do some more intergender work.
Absolutely.
So, like just in general, I've been telling Nate I want to wrestle him, but he thinks I'm playing with him. I've been telling Nate that I'm trying to wrestle him for like 2 years now. He'll be brushing me off. So one of these days.
I never got to wrestle Nate one-on-one, but we've been in a ton of just, multi-man matches and stuff, and we always kind of just like, hey, just a little spot there, a little nod there. We'll see how that goes.
We were in that tag match. It was like myself and Jay Ace, Jazz and Rodney, and then Nate and Alejandra.
Nice.
And I don't think he thought I was going to hit him. I really don't. I was just like, all right, bro, you want me to do that? He's like, nah, I'm going to tag your partner. And I was like, all right, cool. You got it up just because you're standing here. Like.
But Nate is like the coolest of the cool. Nate has got to be one of the coolest dudes I ever even met, man.
Spoiler alert. So get me back.
So laid back. I can kind of see that because I can see you just kind of just taunting him every day and he's like, come on, man, get out.
Yeah, he's like, man. And like, I don't think he believes me. Like, that's still the homie, that's still the bro, still Don Mom, but like,
absolutely.
I'll still go outside to say it one time.
Absolutely. Let them know where your social media is because to see right here, I can't even read that. That's in Spanish. What is it?
Not even.
That's
Despicable Reed.
That's an
Despicable.
That's an Armenian. I know it's a Despicable Reed. Okay.
Yeah, you can pretty much find me Instagram and Twitter on that one. Reiza Clarke on Facebook. I'm easy to find, not hard to track down.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be here, probably talking noise, dropping memes.
Okay, cool. And yeah, see, he's right there, and I'm like, okay, I got it. See, I'm remember Despicable Reed. I'll definitely follow her on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as
Reiza Clarke.
Awesome.
With an E.
Give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe, and also follow Brothers Perspective on Instagram at brothers_perspective_. Follow us on Twitter at bros_perspective, and you can follow us on Facebook at Brothers Perspective. You heard it 3 times, so do it. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at KenDogDMFT. You can also follow me on Facebook at Kenny Steele. Yes, there was a lot to say. You try saying it 5 times over and see how well you do. I'm just that impressive. But thank you. Give us that like, share, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, hit that bell icon right now. And if you like more video content like this, click and subscribe and follow Reiza Clarke right now. And we'll see you guys soon. Later. Peace.
Pull up skirts, something in a brand new drop. Trick one now. Just got paid, but to blow a couple racks off top. Trick one now.